What if you woke up one day and you woke up in the hospital and you just had a concussion the day before, and the doctor came up to you holding a pen and paper, a notepad, and he told you, listen, Jim, whatever your name is, you are a multimillionaire. You have a company with 25 employees. You have a loving family. People respect you. People admire you. You live in this type of house, and this is the type of person you are. And let's say that that concussion would have caused you to lose all of your pre-existing memories. Okay, so this would become your new reality. Just think about the effect that that would have on your life. And many of you might have some stories that you're telling yourself, some identifications that you're holding yourself trapped with, right? And for some of you, that identity of being a multimillionaire, having a company, 25 employees, all happy, loving family, for some of you, this would be more suitable. I'm not saying it's exactly that. I cannot exactly look in your mind right now, but this is just to sketch out the impact of the stories we tell ourselves. And really, if you would just turn a page and start with a clean slate and just write out your own new stories on a conscious level, what kind of impact that could have on your life, right? Because if you really think about it, those stories that you have, and that's what this video is exactly about, how the stories we tell ourselves, how the identifications with those stories about ourselves and who we are hold us back in life, are like a chain around our neck, right? And if you really think about it, those stories that I'm talking about right now and that I'm sharing with you, we didn't exactly put those in consciously, right? 90% of them most likely will be put in there by our parents, by our teachers, by our peers when we grew up, and it's not serving us anymore. Right, so those stories that you've picked up along your childhood, like I'm not good at math, I'm not a planner, I'm not disciplined, whatever, I'm a procrastinator. Those types of stories that have some references behind it that are not actually, the full picture, because you're generalizing, distorting and deleting information at all times, because otherwise you would go crazy, right? That's how you make up these stories. As I said, they're not really serving you anymore, but the funny thing about stories is you can always just shift them like that. If you think back of your childhood, right? You might have been a child, you might have been 5 years old or whatever, and you might have played a game where like, oh, now I'm a doctor, right? Now I'm a dinosaur. Now I'm a tiger, whatever, right? And it doesn't matter, you just change like that because you're not so attached to that identity, to those stories that you've told yourself before that, right? And that's because you have this ability when you're younger to shift between stories, to shift between identities and to really mold your own. But you also have these influences that influence those stories that you stick with you, keep with you in a later stage in life. It's just like, the shoes that you wore when you were 5 years old. Not really a good example of a shoe. This is my girl's shoes.
Yeah, boy.
That I just bluntly stole from her. But what I'm saying is, those shoes you don't really wear them nowadays because they don't fit you anymore. And for the same reason, you shouldn't wear those mental programs, those mental stories that you tell yourself about yourself anymore, because they don't fit you and your goals in this stage of your life, right? So now that you are aware of these stories, and now that you know, like, okay, I could probably let go of some of these stories, how do you do it, right? Well, if you really think about it, stories are really what cultivate beliefs about yourself. If you think about a belief is pretty much like a table. I've said this before in my videos. A table with some legs under it, and the only way to really change a belief is to first cut out the legs from the old belief, right? And then implement a new belief, and then create more references for that belief. Your brain is simply like a weighing scale. So a lot of people say do affirmations and blah 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 blah. But I will tell you today that if you do affirmations, but you do affirmations on the positive side of things, but you still have stories on the other side of things, on the negative side, what's gonna win, right? Because stories have reasons, stories have references, stories have more weight to them, right? You can say, I'm disciplined, I'm disciplined, I'm disciplined every single day, and it could work, and for some people it does, But if on the left side of things, on the left side of the weighing scale of I'm not disciplined, you have I'm not disciplined because I used to never do my homework, because my teachers told me I wasn't, because my parents used to give me chores and I wouldn't do them, right? All these types of things. You have reasons, you have back up data here, right? And on the right side, you don't. And this is gonna weigh much less heavy, okay? So if you understand that, you can apply it, okay? So here's how to make that shift. You create stories for yourself in your benefit, right? You create stories in the right side of the spectrum, in the right side of your weighing scale. So you create stories for yourself of why you are disciplined, right? You think back and you focus on times when you were disciplined, because I can guarantee you nobody is undisciplined. No, nobody is a procrastinator. You're just procrastinating in some things some of the time, but you're just deleting all of the other information or generalizing or distorting. That's what you're doing to make up the story, to make up this belief. And once you open up your RAS, your particular activating system, you're going to be able to focus on all these other areas where you are actually disciplined. Like, I'll tell you one thing. I remember a long time ago, I was just not in a disciplined, this is where I really got that realization on a deep level for myself. I was really not in a very disciplined, period of my life, of my business. And at some point there was an investment opportunity, but for that investment opportunity, I had to work pretty much all day, all night, right? But it could yield great benefit for me. But I had to set up a lot of stuff, a lot of techie stuff, etc. And I had to do this myself because it's about my own account, my own money, right? So I pretty much worked, and I woke up in the night and I worked through it, right? And I got it done. And after that, I really realized, okay, what's the reason that I didn't have any problem, with procrastination or not having enough discipline in this case? Well, it's because in this case of the investment, I knew that I was going to get a great benefit from it, and it was worth it for me because I put in this amount of time and I know that I'm going to get that, right? So it was my belief in there, right? And it was my certainty in what I was going to get out of it, right? So that eliminated the procrastinating habit. Okay, so that's just an example, but to stick with the stories here, I'm giving you that example to show you that it's merely a story, right? And once you change that story, you change your life, okay? Because you open up to things that you can do. So change your story, and how you do it is focus on things where you are not, where the story that is limiting you right now is not actually true, right? So if you say, once again, I'm a procrastinator, find things in your life, find areas where you are not actually procrastinating, right? And find out, dig in, why is that there and why is that not there, right? And then you can break up and break apart the story, right? And then you can apply it there in the area where you are procrastinating. You can, for example, increase your belief in what you're doing or increase the rewards, etc. And then you can change the behavior, and that will create more reference experiences in this new belief, in this new story for you, right? But if you want to really change this story, what you can also do is, if you have the story of I'm an introvert, I'm shy, and all of a sudden, bang, you go out and you just do some crazy shit around people, and you go talk to people and you just push yourself to do it and you do something crazy, you open up your brain completely, because this is not in your story. This is not actually you, right? And I really want you to get out of this video, that's the main purpose, the main topic of this video, that your stories that you tell yourself is simply within your own mind, right? I've given the analogy before of an elephant in the circus that thinks he cannot rip off the little rope that is around his leg connected to a little pole, right? But because that story, because that belief has been conditioned into him from when he was a little elephant, right? And now he still thinks, he still carries that belief system, he still carries that story with him till this day, and that's why he's a tamed elephant. So don't let yourself be a tamed elephant. Don't let yourself be held back by those stories that have been implanted upon you by your peers, teachers, and parents, and also by yourself, just by mere experiences that were traumatic in your experience of life, right? Look at it with an objective eye, ridicule the stories, ridicule the BS, and then implant new reference experiences on that story that you want, okay? So I hope that helped you today. Leave a comment for me down below. If you have a funny story you want to tell me, I'll respond to every single comment. Also, like this video and subscribe for more content like this. Hit the little bell icon, it helps that channel out a lot, and yourself as well, I hope so. So that being said, you can also check the description for a link to one-on-one coaching and also a breakthrough masterclass that you can check out, really how to optimize your life to improve your business and life. So that being said, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you and speak to you in the next one.